Sonic, and this is the Broadway Kids Project. What I wanted to do with this project is that I wanted to use my talents to teach kids and get them involved and excited about theater early on. Because theater can be very applicable to their lives, because the kids tend to be shy at a point. They end up being shy, and they have it might be hard to make friends sometimes, and this kind of gets them out of that box and also artistically involved. So they'll grow up knowing about maybe theater, and then maybe it'll go into other art forms as well. I've been involved with theater for quite some time, and I started at the Broadway. So I have a love for the Broadway, so I wanted to work with Broadway as my first project. Getting my drama club approved was a long process, and it involved communication with many board members, and because they have a very intricate system, you actually have to go into meetings and have your proposal, and I developed a sample plan that I thought of, and then I talked to I was texting back and forth. Initially I had talked to a few board members to get them with it early on. Then I had to read the Broadway bylaws to know how the meetings went and how to deal with that. And they put me on my agenda. I wrote a proposal, which is okay. I went to the Broadway Kids meeting and presented. And the Broadway Kids meeting isn't where it quite gets approved, but it's really great to go because this pertains straight to the kids. So they had a lot of great ideas for me to revise my proposal and make sure that I have all of the bugs worked out before I actually have to go to the big meeting. I addressed any concerns, and then I sent the revised proposal to all board members. I went and presented at the Broadway Players meeting, and then worked out a little bit more of the changes that I had to make, and then I just kind of waited, and they called me about being approved, and I was really excited. So this drama club, we put a cap of it on 25 kids because we had they had a kids play this last spring that was Alice in Wonderland, and they had 200 kids audition. So there are a lot of kids that are interested in working at the Broadway, and this kind of thing helps kids get into shows. So there were a lot of people who applied and whatnot. I had to go through registration kind of things. We chose Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 8 at the theater, and I started this 2 weeks ago. Well, last week. It was the Monday before we left for New York for the Queer Kids. But it's going through June 14th. And then parent supervision. My mother and grandmother are always there, and then I told the parents that they didn't really need to be there because they could just kind of drop their kid off and have it be to them it could be kind of a daycare thing, but a lot of the parents stick around, and sometimes they'll join in on games and exercises, and it's really nice because the kids love it. And safety in the theater, I had to go through the behavior policies, no running in the theater, always wear shoes, little things like that, no jumping off stages because it's not safe. The organization who will help me, I have a few friends who are very theater involved that have offered help, and I needed to clear that with the Broadway and make sure that the Broadway knew who it was and how they'll be involved. The end game, we are doing a showcase on June 14th for the friends and family and for anybody who would like to come, and it's just the kids get to perform in front of an audience, and we have lighting and sound that a few of the Broadway board members offered to help out with, and they get to perform scenes and have little pieces of costumes and stuff, and they're really excited already. And then the cost. The Broadway, when I went to the meeting, the Broadway board actually said, could we charge for this? Because they said that for a class like this, that you might actually be able to make some money for the Broadway. And I didn't think that was a good idea just for my senior project idea, just because I wanted to have it available to all kids who wanted it. And with the cost, like some parents would be like, you know, I have to drive you there and back, and we have to pay for it. That might be too much. But so I made it nothing to the Broadway for me, like me to have my services there or any of the materials. And they put out a donation jar when like you walk in the door, and we've actually gotten a good donation of like $100 so far, just for classes. Then preparation for auditions. There are Peter Pan auditions June 17th and 18th for these kids, and that was a big selling point for the Broadway, because they were like, you can make these kids ready to audition so that they can go up on stage and like cold read something and not be all like script up here and talking like this, you know, like, and they can be more comfortable with people, and the directors would kind of already know them. So it's kind of a good like way to prepare, but also they said that might be unfair to other kids who want to audition. So what we're doing with the drama club is like before auditions, I'm going to like attend auditions, and I'm leading a warm-up and helping with their auditions so that I can help all the kids just get ready to be on stage. Okay. Since I could only have 25 kids, I had to make a registration plan and a registration website and send it out to all the Broadway members, and I sent out emails to everybody who's been involved with like Alice in Wonderland or Christmas Story or It's a Wonderful Life, or and I put it on the Facebook pages, I put it on school pages, and it was just a good way to publicize. It's also on friendsofthebroadway.org. And on this registration plan, it says like, will your child be able to attend all classes? Because that is the most important one, because since we're working on a showcase and whatnot, we accepted people who could be at every single class. And then here I have the photograph, like your child being photographed for a school presentation of the program, just to make sure that everybody was okay with that. Okay, so the first day of class, we had like, you know, the little introduction kind of thing. I would ask the kids like, what is your name? What school do you go to? How old are you? And what is your favorite movie? And one kid said, my favorite movie is a Goofy movie. And then everybody was just like, I love that movie so much. And everybody was really excited about that. And I was like, there is a kind of song that actually pertains to that. Like to what you're doing here and to stage fright. Because a few of them said that they've never been on a stage before, they're kind of scared about it. And so I showed them this, and they really liked it. But here's just a little snippet.
Stop and take a look at me instead of just. There's nothing that I wouldn't do if it was getting you to notice. All I need is a chance, a second thought, a second guess will prove I got whatever it takes. It's okay.
A little video, and it has a good message to it. It's Max in the movie being confident, and it's him being on stage because he's never really done that before, and he's just like, this is kind of like a little prank thing, but it's kind of cool, and the children really liked it. So the drama program, it's really nice to involve kids in theater and get them excited about theater early on, but it also has a lot of like hidden like positives, because drama helps in, it's a very cross-curricular like transformation. It enhances communication skills in a time where the world is becoming so information-based. It's so much better to be able to talk in front of public and to be able to talk to people and have that teamwork skill, and like it makes everything easier, especially like in the business world. It builds a community of artistically inclined people. It's nice to have that little family of friends. Like I have kids from schools like Chippewa Hills, Shepherd. I have a kid from Alma, Sacred Heart, and Poland, Fancher. Like I have kids from every single school, and not many of them know each other, but they're already friends by now. Like yesterday, they were all like playing around, and they actually all we all went to Dairy Queen after practice yesterday, and it's kind of nice. It boosts confidence. I mean, kids start a few of the kids will start out shy, but it's nice that they can play games. Like kids love games, and games will get them out of their shell. And one of the kids actually told me that he was playing, like he tried to get people to play one of the games at lunch, and it was just one of the ones where you're kind of like wandering around getting into groups. But it's really nice. It gives children respect for the arts. I mean, they'll know more about it, they'll know how much goes into it, and I think that's really a good thing to develop early on. It's expressing their creativity, and it encourages kids to read and write, because you have to work with scripts, you have to it develops a kind of story. Like you can actually do an improv scene that might encourage them to write something about that, because it's all imagination, and it's great. And it also lengthens the attention span, which a lot of people don't think that would happen, but it's more like if they go to see a show or a showcase or anything, and they're actually sitting in a dark theater and they're experiencing it, it's kind of, it involves more of the attention span than sitting in front of a TV watching off and on for 15 minutes. Like if you're watching SpongeBob and then playing with toys and running around, that doesn't help the attention span at all. And also it's shown to help academically and just with schoolwork. It's shown to increase attendance, and it's great. The first day was the kids are trying me out as much as I'm trying the kids out. We did introductions and in-games, and we did a little bit of the warm-ups, like shaking it out, getting energy and lion face, lemon face, just stretching your face out. We did energy games and teamwork games, just I wanted them to get to know each other. And I asked them each, what is theater? And the first answer that I got was a TV show on stage, which is kind of funny. And and a lot of them had been in shows before, but they said that it's just people are pretending on stage, and it's kind of cool. A communication exercise, they have to look into each other's eyes and then move around and make sure that they don't hit each other. Staying open to an audience, which these things, they actually listen really well, and they pick up these exercises really fast. Especially the first day, they were a little bit nervous and they weren't talking to each other. Now they're talking to each other a lot, and I have little techniques to get them to calm down. But it was kind of cool, and I would ask them what a character is, and they'd tell me things like Percy Jackson or Harry Potter, and we would create characters and walking character walks, like a cowboy or a robot, or little ways that they can find a tiny character. And then we did an introduction to improv, and these kids, it's kind of really surprising how creative they can be, and how great it is to see them on stage just creating their own story, because they actually come up with a lot of good ideas. There's this one, we were playing Freeze, which is basically, it's just improv and you make up a story on the spot, and then it just keeps changing stories. So this kid was just here's your pay for today, and they were doing a very adult, this is a business and I am the boss paying you, and it was cute. The first impressions, the children were very happy and listened very well. They're always the class clowns. It's something that I have to deal with, and Now it's better, but like it's the kids who will jump around and not quite listen or be in the middle of the circle when you're trying to get everybody to be the part of the circle. But like we're dealing with that and it's fine. This is a printout that I made for the first day, and it's just a few quick guidelines about what to bring to class and how to act in class. And it was nice. Like I always tell them to bring a water bottle and wear like maybe gym clothes or clothes that they can move around in, because if girls wear skirts then they can't really participate in some of the like more movable games. And yeah. This is just a snippet of when we were playing freeze.
He's here! The giant puppy! I know, right? It's the giant puppy! Is this scary? Biscuits! Get the dog biscuits! Braves on. So, here's your pay for the week. Thank you. Yup. Only $10! I cannot tolerate this. You're a horrible boss. You called off for like 2 days. But I was sick. I'm gonna need doctor's note. Here we go. I'll just recite this poem that the doctor wrote me. Which doctor? And I have to leave this establishment.
You're fired.
You're fired. You're not working here. Well, you're,
Monster.
Hey! Who is your hand? You know what? You're dying out there. You call that playing football? I saw people playing football better than you. I bet money on you and everything on your coach, and you better do better, pal. I'm looking at you, tall guy, with the muscles and angry face. Yeah, it's so funny, I know.
That's just a little snippet of our freeze game, and they really enjoyed it, and we'll just keep going until everybody has a turn. And they just keep bringing up these stories, and a lot of them are really great. This is just part of the curriculum that I presented to Broadway, and these are things that we're working on, like character work, which is like, you know, just developing characters and having them walk like their character, talk like their character, and making little choices. And then physicality and mimicry, emotions, improv, blocking, speed and timing, which like we're actually like working on like walking across the stage in character at different speeds. Like what speed would your character be working at? And there are just little exercises that we work with for each of these. And then memorization, we're touching on musical theater a little bit. I have a friend helping me with that. And then there's A and B scenes, which I just gave them yesterday, and that's part of what the showcase may be. And that's when they develop their own little, like, they develop a story for a script that really doesn't have a story. It's just like, it's hey, how are you doing? Where have you been? And they develop a backstory to it so it makes sense when they're acting. And they were doing really great with it yesterday, and we're working on it for the next couple weeks. We're also doing like mini monologues so that they can have some time on stage and feel that. And that's a lot of times like what they'll do in auditions here. Like it won't be like sometimes it'll be cold read scenes, and sometimes it'll be little monologues, and they'll just be on stage, or like maybe it'll be like the director says, "Tell me about your day," and to see how well the kid projects and like, I mean, is comfortable on stage. And then projection will just kind of like it. Yesterday we did something because a few of the kids, like new kids, were being a little bit quiet, so we like lined up everybody on the stage and would throw our voice up to a guy in the balcony, and like it helps them be loud, because projection is something, especially I mean directors at Broadway really look at for kids, because a lot of times you can't even like hear kids when they're on stage because they're just like, you know, really shy and they don't know, like they don't know how to project their voice. Teamwork and the relationships between people working on scenes and being able to have the eye contact and whatnot. Choices, humor, and the behind the scenes. We're also working a little bit with costumes and showing them like how you use lights in the stage, like how every single part of theater happens. Because there's a lot more to theater than just the actors on stage. Because then they can see like the collaboration that makes theater is a lot of artists and a lot of just great things happening. Because you have the costumes, makeup, light work, set work, everything. These are some people who are helping me. Because Kelly Rushlow is involved with Broadway quite a lot, and he's one of my friends, and he said that like he would help me, and we've been working on this together. And then Matt Fox, who is a musical theater major at CMU, is actually coming in next week, and he is doing a few workshops with the kids, and he's going to perform a song, and he's going to just talk about the differences between like musical theater and regular plays, and just have that little cross there. And I know a lot of the kids dance, and a lot of the kids sing, and it's nice for them. And then Kyle Lacrosse is one of my friends from Alma, and they have a forensic scene there, which is acting in a different way, and it's a lot of monologues or scenes, and he actually won first place last year in States. So he said that he would come in and teach them a little bit about forensics and just help us out with a few exercises that he knows. And I have a few other people who would just come in every once in a while, and they'll like help me deal with the kids or play games with us, because it's a lot of fun to just come in and like hang out and play games. Here's some exercises that we've done, like the imaginary ball. Like we'll be standing in a circle, and we'll have this ball, and I'll say, "This is a baseball," and I throw it to somebody else, and then they catch it, and they'd be like, "Well, now it's a football," and then they catch it, and then they'd be like, "This is heavy. This is a bowling ball," and they just like it's a ball that keeps changing shape, and it's their imagination. And then one person said, "This is a lightsaber," and hit somebody with it, and then threw it to another person, and then it just kind of opened everything. Like, it was cool. And then, like, we do mirror exercises and character walks. Like, these are a few things that we've done already. Like, center stage, backstage, so that they know, like in the scripts, like, how to tell which way is stage left, stage right. And yeah, they're doing it pretty well. These are some obstacles that I've run across in this. Like, if we're playing improv games, a lot of it's like copying each other and having the same subject over and over and over, which now they're out of, but it took a little while. Physical contact and not violence. For some reason, the kids love to act like they're hitting each other, or like even like poking or like slapping or pulling hair, which I don't watch there, and that's just something that I told them early on that they haven't been doing. Kid-appropriate material. As high schoolers and college students, we actually need to make sure that everything that we do is kid-appropriate, because like there is a point where like you're in an improv scene and you want to do something funny, but also you remember like, oh, one of these kids is like 7 years old. Yeah. So it involves watching a lot of Disney movies and seeing what's funny in Disney movies and conveying that instead of what we would think is funny. And then following instructions, which like I haven't actually had much trouble with, but these are things that like I think that would be obstacles. And then attention seekers, there's a kid who always just jumps around and he doesn't really say words, he's just kind of like screaming. And there's one kid like that, and we finally got him to calm down. But it's something that we work on. And respecting the theater, like the Broadway is a great place, and they need to not pick off the floor or jump over chairs or anything, and safety. Keeping parents happy and keeping the board happy, because they are as important as I am and the kids are at the Broadway, and we need to make sure that everything that I do will not impact them in a negative way. And then catering to the youngins, like we need to make sure that like what I'm doing with the kids, all the exercises and whatnot, will be effective for both the 7-year-old and the 14-year-old. And this is just a kind of example for like the energy that they have, so big. Go ahead.
Keep going.